Well, a very good Saturday evening. This is the weekend edition of Brampton News. They come to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo, and we have an interesting lineup of international, local and sports stories that you would want to have a listen to. Well, I'm Joel Outskun. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
What caused the fuel shortage across the island? Fatal drowning in the Telgamo Oya in Matale. 4 dead and 4 remain missing. President says action will be taken against those who commit wrong while in the government. MTV Channel Private Limited unanimously elected to the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union's Administrative Council. Former Argentina VP arrested in corruption case.
I have been struggling without petrol since morning. I couldn't sell all this food. There are people who are struggling to eat a day's meal.
The government should have taken some action. They have not done anything. The innocent people are the ones who suffer.
They say an oil shipment is late. The government should maintain stocks to face such a situation.
This has become a joke. Constant strikes, fuel shortages. The whole country has become a joke.
Well, that was the displeasure of certain individuals expressed owing to this current situation faced all over Sri Lanka. Here's an in-depth analysis taken place by Newsfirst. Now, the Minister of Petroleum Resources Development, Arjuna Ranatunga, has called on the general public to use petrol sparingly but without any undue fear. Issuing a special statement, the minister noted that a shipment of fuel imported by Lanka IOC proved to be of substandard quality and was therefore not unloaded. Well, now the long queues at fuel stations were seen for second day today. What is the real reason for this shortage of fuel that is being reported from all across the country? Now, fuel of the Indian Oil Corporation that was brought into the country on the 15th of October, this was rejected, citing that the oil was not of proper standard. The ship carrying oil for the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation was supposed to arrive in the country on the 3rd or the 4th of this month. However, there are reports now that the ship will only arrive in the country by the 8th or the 9th of November. Now, the Minister of Petroleum Resource Development, Arjuna Ranatunga, has called on the general public to use petrol sparingly but without any undue fear. Issuing a statement, the minister noted that a shipment of fuel imported by Lanka IOC proved to be of substandard quality and was not therefore unloaded. As a result of this, supply of petrol to fuel stations across the country has been hampered. Now, according to the minister, he states that the ministry is capable of supplying 80% of the requirement of the country and notes with concern instances of unrest among the public. Now, the Petroleum Corporation of the trade union state that only 10,000 metric tons of fuel remain in the reserves. The daily requirement is around 4,000 to 5,000 metric tons. According to this data, the reserves of fuel in the country will only be adequate for 2 days. Even if the ministry decides to go on spot purchases, a ship carrying fuel will not be able to reach the country that fast. Now, based on the information that we have been able to gather, a ship carrying fuel will arrive in the country on the 8th or the 9th of this month. The general public raised questions as to whether the reserves will run out in 2 days and whether there will be a fuel crisis after Tuesday. The trade union states that there is an attempt by the government to opt for spot purchases or to accept the fuel in the rejected shipment.
මේ තත්ත්වය ඇති වුණා නෙමෙයි ඇති කළා.
They took steps to create this situation. On Thursday, the officials decided not to issue the normal quantity of petrol into the market. This was a wrong and arbitrary decision. That is why we have to face this situation. The 30,000 metric tons imported by the Lanka IOC was rejected. They were supposed to immediately order another shipment within 7 days. They haven't done this. This is an issue. There is no fuel shortage. They are trying to create an artificial shortage and push the minister and officials towards a spot purchase at a much higher rate. An immediate investigation should be launched. This is a black mark on the government as well as the CPC.
පරීක්ෂණ කළ යුතුයි. මේක ආණ්ඩුවට අපකීර්තියක් වුණා. සංස්ථාවට අපකීර්තියක් වුණා.
මේ වෙලාවේ පැහැදිලිවම තෙල් හිගයක් තියෙනවා.
There is a clear fuel shortage. The shipment that arrived on the 15th of last month was rejected by the laboratories due to its poor quality. They promised to bring in another shipment of 30,000 metric tons. They haven't done that yet. We have received reports that the Indian ship that was rejected is currently anchored off the China Bay.
Still on to the same story now. There were stocks of fuel that have been rejected on previous occasions as well. However, there was no fuel shortage as a result of this rejection. As per the information we received, the subject minister holds a discussion with the relevant officials every week to understand and ascertain the fuel requirements. Now, the purchasing of fuel was being done as per long-term tender process at which quarter. However, a cabinet paper had been presented to seek permission to go into spot purchasing after cancelling the tender procedures that were followed over a long period of time. Now, according to what the ministry says, there will be no spot purchasing done for fuel. Then, why was such a cabinet paper presented? Even if fuel purchasing is done through spot purchasing, the ship carrying the fuel will take 2 to 3 weeks to arrive in the country. By this time, the fuel cargo ordered by the CPC will arrive in the country. Then, what will happen to the excess fuel? News First will keep a close watch. And in news from the President's Diary, the new 3-storied building of the Mahasen Mahavidyalaya in Bakmuna, which was constructed under the Pipiden Polonnaru program, was vested in the public today by President Maithripala Sirisena.
The new building, which was built at a cost of 16.8 million rupees, consists of 8 classrooms and 2 technical units. President Maithripala Sirisena also planted a tree in the school premises and took part in a cultural event organized by the school. The President thereafter declared open the new administration building of the Elahara Pradesh Sabha, which is built at a cost of 60 million rupees.
I am the person who suffers the most amount of insults in the country. This is something that happens because of democratic freedoms given to the people of this country. If you take a look at websites or Facebook, you can see the number of insults being leveled against me. This does not happen in developed countries. This is a sign of underdeveloped people. No matter what insult is leveled against us, we will ensure that our responsibilities are fulfilled. When engaging in infrastructure development, we will emphasize on transparency. We need people who will not engage in corruption. As you know, I stepped out of the previous government due to my stand against corruption, fraud and family-based politics. It does not matter what party you are from, be it from the UNP, SLFP or someone without a party. We will take action against corruption. I believe that this is one of the cornerstones of Yahapalanaya.
වැරද්දට අවශ්‍ය නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීමත් වැරද්දට දඬුවම් දීමත් යහපාලනයක තිබිය යුතු ප්‍රධාන ලක්ෂණ විදියට මම සලකනවා.
Well, we at News First have an update on to some tragic news which we reported throughout the day today. Now, the remains of 5 people who died while bathing in the Atunawala Oya in Thelgamuwa, Matale have been recovered. According to the police, 2 elderly women, a male and a child are among the victims. Now, at around 2 p.m. today, 8 people who were bathing in the Atunawala Oya disappeared due to a sudden increase in water. The victims had been identified as residents of Venapur who had arrived in the area on an excursion. Search operations are continuing to locate the missing persons. The police, area residents as well as Dambul Lifeguard Unit have joined the search operations. Army spokesperson Major General Roshan Senivaratne notes that a special force diving team as well as a Navy diving team have been dispatched to the location. Well, MTV Channel Private Limited, a part of the media network of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, was unanimously elected to the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union's Administrative Council. The 54th General Assembly and associated meetings of the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union concluded in Chengdu, Sichuan, China today. The theme for this year's ABU General Assembly is Media, Uncertain Times and Diversity and Inclusion in the Media.
The significance of MTV channel being unanimously elected to the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union's Administrative Council is that it has taken Sri Lanka to the World Forum. The ABU consists of 67 countries in the Asia Pacific region and also 280 member organizations, both public and private media. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to be one of the 17 members appointed to this council. Some members of the council are NHK Japan, RTCC China and SBS Korea. The chairman, Mr. Rajmahendran's unwavering commitment to the industry is what has driven MTV and NBC, the Maharaja Media Network, to reach these heights. We have been recognized for the commitment that we have shown with regards to transparency, reporting, and also all the other work that we do with the media. Be it engaging with communities at the grassroots level or be it at international forums. The ABU Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union has recognized us at this international forum, the 54th ABU General Assembly in Chengdu, China.
Well, that was Group Director, Electronic Media Business, Nidra Veerasinghe, joining us from China on the latest update of our inclusion of the ABU conference. Now we'll join with Group Director of TCMO, Shanti Bhagaradan, for another update.
It's a very proud moment for us with all the hard work that MTV channels have done in Sri Lanka, and today we are recognized in the international platform with more than 350 broadcasters. Only 17 broadcasters get to sit in the Administrative Council, and MTV channel is one, and that speaks a lot for the work that we do in Sri Lanka, and which has been recognized today also in international media. When you do things with your heart and when you work with your people with your own heart, and that pays and it gives you good results, and that's what we see with MTV channel today. And I must thank the chairman for giving us the courage and supporting us all the way through. And I think the credit goes to him for leading us and to show us the way to work in media.
In more news this evening, 3 persons were killed while 2 others were injured in an accident at the 18th mile post area in Minuwangoda, Katunayaka.
According to the police, the victims had been travelling in a truck which had veered off the road and crashed into a transformer and high voltage wires.
The tyre burst, then the vehicle veered off the road and collided with the transformer.
The high voltage wires fell on the truck after the accident. The 5 passengers of the vehicle, including the driver, were seriously injured and were admitted to the Negombo hospital. 3 of the injured succumbed to their injuries. The deceased were aged 54, 26 and 27 years old and was residents of Navalapitiya, Matale and Mahava.
Yet in more tragic news, now the body of a 15-year-old boy who went missing several days ago has been recovered from the Kiriyala area in Ratnapura.
The body of the 15-year-old boy was found last afternoon in a rubber estate in the Kiriyala area. According to the police, the mother of the victim had lodged a complaint with the police that the child had been missing since the 24th. Speaking to the police yesterday, the mother had said that the child had spoken to her over the phone and had told her that he is with a toy vendor. Launching investigations on the information received, the police had questioned the vendor in question and the body was found thereafter. He had spoken to someone who sells balloons and toys and had gone with him. On the 21st, he called and said that he would be attending a neighbour's almsgiving. Since he didn't come that evening, I tried calling him, but the phone did not work. The victim is a 15-year-old resident of the Karadana area. The Kiriyala police is carrying out further investigations into the incident.
And shifting your attention to some news from the political stage, today a special meeting of SLFP electorate and district organisers was held in Galle.
One group is calling for us to contest using the symbol of the hand. Another group is asking us to contest using the beetle leaf. After discussing this matter over the next few days, we will officially inform the country which symbol we will be using. Based on the current political landscape, there is an opinion that the SLFP and the joint opposition should face this election as one. Some leaders of the joint opposition have given assurance to the UMP and Ranil Wickremesinghe that they will work to split the SLFP and ensure UMP victory. All they ask in return is that their corruption cases be swept under the carpet.
We will bring together everyone who believes in our policies and vision. We will contest under the leadership of SLFP and the colour blue. That is the decision we have reached.
It is true that we are in a government with the United National Party. However, we have no intention of contesting with the UMP for the local government election. We are prepared to lead a broad coalition led by the SLFP under the symbol of the hand or the beetle leaf to victory.
The former president created the necessary background that led by my defeat as well as the defeat of PSA Nagamage. This meant that Geeta Kumarasinghe won. I see the court order against Geeta as one of against Mahinda. He brought in people like Anarkali and devalued this institution. He finished off politics in Sri Lanka by bringing in such people.
Now, following a function held at the Galle Town Hall, Deputy Minister Manusha Nanakara commented on the possibility of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party contesting the local government polls together with the United National Party.
There is no discussion in this regard with the SLFP. There has been no proposal. We will be contesting along. We can state this with certainty.
The National Law Conference 2017-2018 commenced in Hambantota last evening. Well, this year's conference is held under the theme Adapting to an Evolving Global Landscape.
The National Law Conference saw the participation of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Minister of Law and Order Thalathatha Korala, President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka UR De Silva and several other dignitaries.
When I was invited here, I asked Murshid, why Hambantota? And he looked at me and said, well, you told us it's a white elephant, so we are bringing business here. But I have some good news for you. The joint venture has been concluded, and starting from December, we will get a payment of $1.1 billion in the next few months. So at least it's not a white elephant. And the new joint venture is investing an additional $600 million in equipment. By April next year, the latest, I think much before that, we'll also conclude an agreement on the Mattala airport with a civil aviation authority going into a joint venture as minority stakeholders with the Indian civil aviation companies. So we will have both Hambantota and Mattala out of the way. It will be a big industrialization where we think finally in the next 10 years we will have over 500 or more large factories in here. I think the Bar Association better run some Chinese classes for your members.
The PM also spoke on the Constitution addressing the National Law Conference.
Some people ask, why a new Constitution? I think we require a political settlement after the war. I need not go into that. We need a new system of elections. The big debate on the executive presidency and abolition must also be brought to a close. We will most probably somewhere in November decide the procedure and start the discussions with civil society and religious leaders at that time. But I think from 20th December till 1st of January, everyone will be on holiday. And then from 1st of January till end of January, everyone will be electioneering. And then the rest of the work it might go until about the discussions will go until about February, March. I made a constitution and live most of our life through it. It's for the younger people to decide what type of constitution they want.
On to more news here at home. The foundation stone for a new bridge across the Kirindi Oya, which will connect the Belihalela and Lunugambera, was laid today under the auspices of Minister Sajid Premadasa.
The new bridge is being constructed at a cost of 160 million rupees. Various leaders create different images for themselves when they go before the public. Some say they are from the village, others say that he is a man from the district, some others say he is the man of the province. There are also people who are branded as outsiders. I was the outsider in Hambantota. Now I need to ask the people of Hambantota whether they are satisfied with the work of this outsider.
Now, due to the current arid conditions experienced in the Ranni area, the water level of the Kattakadu tank has drastically reduced, causing a shortage of water to surrounding areas.
The Kattakadu tank supplies water to a section of the Ambalantara Divisional Secretariat area as well as a section of the Tangol Divisional Secretariat area. Around 17,000 families rely on this tank for their daily water requirements. The Hambantota District Office of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board notes that water in the tank will only last for a few more days. There are two other ways in which water can be diverted to this tank. One would be to divert water from the Chandrika tank in Ambalipitia. However, resident manager of the Uduwala area of the Mahavali authority states that this cannot be done because of construction work on a canal in the Buveliara area. The second alternative would be to divert water from the Muruthavilla tank. However, due to successive seasons of bad weather, water from the tank is being used to sustain cultivations in the area. We are greatly inconvenienced. We have to travel more than 1.5 kilometers to get water.
They provide water for foreigners. Water supply to hotels have not been disrupted. However, the people in the villages don't have a single drop of water. Tanks do not have water sources. Please take steps to provide water to this tank. We have told our plight to the politicians, but they don't pay any heed to our concerns. Water is essential for the people, yet they cannot ensure a constant supply. Regardless, the rulers of the country spend millions on the other things.
In sport, it's some rugby news. Here at home, defending Rugby League Kandy locked horns with CHNFC today at the racecourse grounds.
The lads from Kandy drew first blood through a Tilna Vijay Singh penalty. They scored again in the first half with a converted try in the 34th minute to increase their tally to 10-0. CHNFC managed to bounce back with a penalty of their own. However, some sloppy work at the end of the first half saw Kandy adding 10 more points to their tally. Kandy led 23 at half-time. The second half was a more subdued affair, with both teams only managing to add 3 points apiece to their total. Kandy walked away with a 23-6 win at the long whistle.
Shifting your attention to some local news now, remember we were informing you about a story about a tragic incident which took place today, and the Newsfirst is now in possession of footage. Once again, the story for your attention: the remains of 5 people who died while bathing in the Atunwala Oya in Telgamua, Mathale, have been recovered. Now, according to the police, 2 elderly women, a male and a child, are among the victims. At around 2 p.m. today, 8 people were bathing in the Atunwala Oya disappeared due to a sudden increase in water. The victims have been identified as residents of Vennapur who had arrived in the area on an excursion. Well, we have come to the end of tonight's bulletin, but here's a reminder: if you missed out on any of our stories, do not worry, everything is uploaded on our website www.newsfirst.lk. Well, we wrap tonight's news with some amateur footage from the fuel station in Colombo. Well, this is not a very common sight, but tired of waiting in a petrol line, one man decided to jump the line. And this is what happens afterwards. I'm Joel Outscoon. Take care. Good night.